everybody. Welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time.
True.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Ken Plume, and you can find me at KenPlume.com because we all have URLs.
That's right.
2021.
There are times when, we have a guest who's just a lot more offline, and it's hard to give them a little, either they're plug something or their little chyron right here that says, where they're from.
You gift them a website at that point, right?
Yeah, I guess I just have to buy
the bag
them
that you give all guests with the action figures.
Pointed
Probably
at their
easier to,
episode.
Yeah. Probably easier to assign one that you already own than buy a specific new one.
Yeah. PeteTheRetailer2.com.
On the move.
Oh, boy.
/ on the move.
Oh, you have to get that website now.
Yeah,
We're really screwed. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, thanks, Ken, for joining us today. We are talking about minute 46. 46 of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It usually takes me about halfway through the movie before I start questioning myself as to what number episode we're talking about.
I'm still writing checks that say episode 7.
Yeah. So. 46 starts with Kylo Ren sensing a connection, and it ends with Kylo Ren suggesting that the effort would kill Rey. She's not doing it. The effort would kill her. Which seems kind of like a little bit of a dig. He's like, oh, you're not good enough to do this. And she should be like, what?
Honestly, this is the first time in the times I've seen the film, watching this minute, that I finally realized that, oh, this is the setup for what happens to Luke at the end of the film.
Right.
With Kylo Ren saying the effort would kill you to force project this distance, and for me to be able to see you and vice versa, this connection would kill you.
Right.
So it's a strain and an effort. This is the first time that I finally realized, oh, he was writing a script and had to set up an element for later in the film, and this is that scene.
So that's very strange to me, because I always assumed that these things were only happening in their heads. Like,
yeah. But
when Luke comes out, well, anyway, we'll see.
They don't know that.
But we see a physical connection later, though,
right,
between them.
Well, but also, like, Hux and everyone else all see Ghost Luke at the final battle, too.
Oh, right. Well, that's a different level.
Right. So that, to me, seems like a different power than telepathically talking over a distance. Making it so everyone can see you seems like that would require a lot more effort.
But he doesn't know yet that no one else can see her. He's just like, he just sees her there and assumes that, oh, she's projecting herself here.
Right.
He assumes that Hux would be able, if Hux walked into the room, or if Mitaka walked into the room, only those two.
But has it been firmly established that everyone around Kylo Ren just sort of ignores what he's doing for personal safety? Like when he's acting out, lashing out, anything, they just sort of walk on and go, whatever, it's a Kylo Ren thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they all say fire at that man, though. Right. So if there'd be like, who? They wouldn't know.
Well, he was pointing, so they just would go, oh, just wherever he's pointing, just fire at the spot.
Right. Oh, man. I, when we get to those scenes, I really do want to imagine it as, like, Kylo Ren is the only one who can see them, and they're all just like, okay, sir.
At first, everyone's shooting in different directions, and then they all gradually get together to one spot.
Well, if you look at the amount of damage spread across there, it looks like there's a decent amount of distance between where they were all hitting.
Yeah. Anyway, we're jumping ahead several minutes, though,
well,
so let's get back
along
to
those same lines. I did want to talk about the maybe 35 years from now or whatever, when they do a certain point of view book for this, you'll have a story from the medical droid, the stitching droid's point of view, where it's like it's in the middle of giving him stitches, and he's just like, "Hang on a second, I have to talk to my imaginary friend." like that droid has to
all
be
the appointments after him.
Right.
That's the issue that I looked at that point, was just like, that's just rude. There are other people in other waiting rooms beside waiting to be stitched up, examined, whatever.
Hanging there bleeding out, waiting. We're like, oh, where's that droid? Like,
yeah, I was in an elevator with Kylo this morning. I can't feel my leg.
Well, there must be different levels of healthcare in the First Order healthcare system, because I'm sure, like,
an HMO. You don't
like
think
the low guys, like Finn probably doesn't get anything. If you die, then but so he gets to kind of jump the front of the line. He gets the
Kylo Ren, yeah.
He gets the privatized medicine. Everyone else gets the socialized medicine.
The Walgreens brand Bacta.
Right. Yeah. Well,
this doesn't smell right.
Yeah.
Or what's the Nice? Nice brand Bacta. Isn't that their house brand? Walgreens house brand? Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
What was isn't there like a pre-Bacta medical treatment that was given in sort of Star Wars lore that was before Bacta was developed? That was the thing that Bacta replaced as a better medical treatment?
Yeah. Fronta.
So everyone look that up who's listening to this right now.
Yeah. They're all yelling.
We know the answer, but we think people get more pleasure out of searching out the answer for themselves.
Because Bacta was like the penicillin of the Star Wars universe, right? It was like this, oh my gosh, miracle discovery. This thing does everything.
I thought it was more like hydrogen peroxide, like instead of a big vat of hydrogen.
Just sizzling,
bubbling
when he
up.
first went in there, it was like all
but that's like the difference as a kid when they offer, do you want an alcohol swab or hydrogen peroxide? And you go, no alcohol, no. So if Bacta is the hydrogen peroxide, then yes, I'll take that.
Yeah.
As a kid, I preferred iodine, but they don't really do that anymore. I think it's
alum.
Was it poisonous?
That was like an art project for you,
right?
Like, I really love the sound design of whoever is doing Ben Burtt's job these days. Can't be bothered to look it up myself, but whoever's doing the sound design these days, I really like the way all the other sound drops out. It has a kind of cool echoey quality and stuff to it. I really
isn't it Wood? Matthew Wood?
Oh, that would make sense. General Grievous himself.
Yeah, I thought he was the protege of Ben Burt.
Yeah.
And that's why he picks up all of those sweet voice jobs.
Well, when you said, isn't it wood, I pictured like Foley kind of like scraping wood, like I was like, oh, is this?
Yeah.
But no, I do love how it all drops out except for when it doesn't. Like there's nice little, establishing the connection, there's little like sound bridges, or what is that called? A J-splice or something like that, where it goes, you get a little bit of, we're still seeing Rey, and we hear the mouse droid going like, bap, 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 and she's, still in her hut, or we hear, nature sounds, and I think a porg.
There's an overlap.
Kylo. Yeah, it's a nice kind of
ties those two locations together.
Yeah, and giving us that, little audio cues to establish the connection, which is nice.
J-Splice, great name for a great pseudonym for a musician.
Yeah, that's my DJ
or film
name.
editor.
Yeah.
DJ Splice.
Oh, no, that's a different guy. I'm just Jay
But the
Splice.
sound design in this film, I really enjoy the moments of silence that are woven throughout this. And I think more so than some of the other films, this one really plays with the quiet moments.
Right.
A lot more. Like it doesn't feel a need to fill in.
To the point where they needed to tell people with a sign outside the theater saying,
well, yeah,
some parts are intentionally quiet. Don't come out asking for your money back.
That part was all of what? 5 seconds?
We'll find out,
and
I
people
guess.
were leaping from their chairs.
Like, hey, that was broken.
It's broken! That should be a boom!
I can easily see some types of Star Wars nerds freaking out that they're missing part of it, or they think it's, like they want them to rewind it so they can hear the sound.
Right.
I demand to be in the next showing, please. The one with sound.
The same ones who demanded that when that they be sent an extra Laserdisc, a corrected Laserdisc, when the Laserdisc box set came out and it was missing like 3 seconds of Leia welding for the disc change to work. I'm not saying I was one of those people, but it was a big thing. It was people saying like, hey, a missing part of the movie, there's 3 seconds of Leia welding in Empire Strikes Back.
I also imagine someone during the Holdo segment towards the end of this just sort of going, boom.
That's right.
Maybe they're trying to do a Rocky Horror thing where it's up to the audience to provide the sound at that point.
What do you think this sound like?
That's what everyone will have to make the sound, whatever sound they want at that particular moment. So when they see each other for the first time and they realize that what they're seeing, Rey's first instinct is to try to blast him.
Right.
Which I like.
Yes.
Which is a sign of love.
Exactly.
Clearly the love she's been feeling all along for Kylo Ren. That is
they're part of the
another
same
establishing
dyad,
moment.
So she can easily sense that as soon as they appear.
Right.
I like it for 2 reasons. It shows that Rey is still an impulsive, like, oh, I must not strike first kind of person. And it reminds me of Han Solo when the door opens in Cloud City and he sees Han there. What?
And then he snaps and it comes back around to him.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. Well, I also like it for additional reasons. So exactly like it's, you know, again, harkening back to Empire, like Luke, you know, still wanting the comfort of his blaster when he goes into the magic tree.
yeah.
You know, that's still Rey's first instinct. Or like, oh, I'm going to grab the blaster to get him. But also then there's a moment where she disengages the safety because that's what Han Solo taught her about the safety. When he first gave it to her, he was just like, yeah, you know how to use this. Like that comes back, and she takes a moment to disengage the safety, which I was like, oh, like, and she's
wow, nice detail.
But in sort of the time period that's been shown, how long has she actually had the lightsaber? Like a week tops?
20 minutes, I think. Well, yeah, I mean, if this is
this film rolled right off of the last film,
yeah,
and she had just gotten it and used it, and this is, of course, her instinct would be to go for the thing she was familiar with, which would be a blaster rather than this weird weapon,
yeah,
that she's barely used.
I mean, how much? It would be interesting to, you know, how much time we can confirm. We know it's at least the next day, the next Octuian day. Which I don't get off. You know, we don't have that as a holiday here. It's a bank holiday, but somehow I still have to work.
You know, it could be a holiday in your heart.
Well,
you can take the holiday if you want. If this year has taught us anything, take the holiday you want, Pete.
Exactly. But it's at least one day after. You know, she at least went to sleep and woke up once,
right,
from having arrived there. So,
having finally acquired the Last Jedi visual dictionary, I was intrigued and puzzled where it says that Rey is baffled by Luke's refusal to come with her because her trip there was long and difficult. So I'm not sure how to interpret that.
But what is long and difficult travel? Do we even know how long travel through hyperspace takes? Because sometimes it seems to be nearly instantaneous that you're at some place. Like there seems to be highly variable travel times through hyperspace to any location. Like you don't see a lot of we spend days in hyperspace kind of travel.
Well, two things. One, it could be, you know, relative that it's, you know,
you think they're brother and sister?
Relative. You know, having personal experience, having, you know, coming from a place where, you know, in New York, like, you know, if you have to drive anywhere, it's going to be at least a half hour because you got to get your car, you got to get to your car, you got to go, you know. But here on at least in my neck of the West Coast, it seems like driving a half hour to someplace seems really long for a lot of people. Everyone's like, oh, I'm not going to go there. It's a half hour. Whereas, like, it seems like, you know, it's relative to what you're doing. So maybe for them, like hyperspace being a thing, it's just like, oh yeah, it took like, you know, 4 hours to get there. That's forever. You know what I mean? It's like, because
she's
like
never left her planet before this. She's been on Jakku, where everything looks the same.
Right. Yeah. So it's like,
but she did go to Maz Kanata's home planet, and then she went to the other Dakar.
Relatively
but that
close,
also all seemed to happen within a day.
Right.
Yeah.
And here it's like, you know, suddenly she's, you know, flying to Australia, and it's like, oh, come on. Like, what is this?
Like, did she sleep on the Falcon? Was there enough time to sleep?
I think everybody slept on the Falcon. It was a dark horse that
it's an
totally
Airbnb.
Surprised us. Yeah. Cinderella story.
I totally blanked at what I was just going to say with
Sorry.
It seemed. Go ahead. You go ahead, Pete.
Well, no, I was also, while you think about that, I was also going to bring up that thing that I recently found in Star Wars Chronicles. We were talking about that. The nice, fancy. Ken, you remember this book? The nice gold and black, fancy, oversized hardcover book.
From Chronicle Books.
Yeah,
I have them both back there
in the dark times. And it was like, you know, here's almost everything that you've ever seen about Star Wars. Here's a picture of it. Here's things you haven't seen. Here's
and it was nearly impossible to find when it came out.
Yeah. Well, I think it was first only in Japan, and then still it was.
Because it was originally, wasn't it tied to the exhibition?
I could have been.
Like it was like almost like a catalog book of the touring exhibition of like the artifacts and movie prop and ephemera.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Anyway, in there's a little kind of a table, a little chart that has kind kind of, distances, common distances between planets or something like that.
You trying to look it up?
Well, yeah, I had it from when we talked about it the other day on a weekend show.
Right.
So like one of the longest trips that it looks like you can make is like Tatooine to Coruscant. Now there's no annotation for this. There's no like, oh, according to this, it seems like it's made up. It's an astrogation gazetteer. And
this is all pre-Hidalgo, so
people should not use
this.
Don't use this if you're trying to plan a trip to Alderaan. It's just for entertainment purposes only.
Add on at least an extra 3 hours.
Well, Tatooine to Coruscant, 22 days and 14 hours.
See, that I like.
That's the longest out of any of these, it looks like.
But we see that journey in Phantom Menace.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it takes. Yeah, no. So this is automatically discounted.
This is pre-Phantom Menace. I don't know. Are you going to discount this book that I love, or are you going to discount the Phantom Menace? Which I
think it's like Game of Thrones, where in the beginning of Game of Thrones, it took someone forever to get all the way up to the wall, like to go from King's Landing all the way up to and then by the last season, yeah, by the end they're just kind of like, I have to go talk to the people on the North Wall. Next scene, here I am at the North Wall. It's I guess because it gets ineffective to just show people sitting around in a ship for 22 days.
Yeah, nothing ever seems like it takes days travel wise. I can understand everything feels like hours
at most. Yeah,
if
like it doesn't seem like they're chilling out too long in the Falcon on the journey to Alderaan from Tatooine.
Right.
It seems like, oh, they got bored. Maybe it's like a 6-hour journey, the kind of thing where you're like, oh, we'll pull out the little training droid.
According to the Gazetteer, 7 hours. There you go. Boom. Perfect. You're a good judge of these things, Ken Plume.
Yeah.
You should be a star pilot.
Which also shows the trip to Coruscant 22-day thing.
Yeah, it seems a little
is bizarre and wrong.
See, I like that, though. In the context of the original Star Wars, it works. Because they never go from Tatooine to Coruscant in the original movie. So I'm going to stay. And I like Tatooine being an hour out of the way backwater. I don't like this whole like, it's the planet right next to Tatooine that everyone knows. But
wait a minute.
You know what it feels like to me? It feels like if you were to live in New York.
Yes.
This is just for Pete. So distance wise, if you live in Manhattan. And it's like, oh, what's the difference between going to Brooklyn or going out to Long Island?
Right. Well,
so the distance
point of order,
going out,
Brooklyn is on Long Island geographically. So
you know what I mean. Going out to Montauk.
0 is the time.
Heading out to Montauk.
Right.
From Manhattan.
Right.
That seems like the journey from Tatooine to Coruscant.
Right. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm looking at it now, and it seems so. Like Alderaan to Tatooine, 7 hours. Alderaan to Coruscant, 16 hours. Tatooine to Coruscant, 22 days and 14 hours?
Did they look at what they...
I don't know.
Again, the physics of Star Wars are not... They've never been satisfactorily explained, so just say it's the Force. That
sounds like an editorial pass that was not taken on the book.
It's a lot shorter if you go by Alderaan as opposed to just going all the way.
You went the long way.
Yeah. I think that was published by the Alderaan Chamber of Commerce.
You never go around Dantooine.
Yeah. Dantooine, 21 hours. Oh, no, that's Endor.
So one thing I also like, getting back to this minute particularly,
Please.
Is when... So we saw Rey tries to shoot immediately, and after a moment of thought, Kylo Ren busts out his mind trick and says, "You will bring Luke Skywalker to me." And then when that doesn't work, I love the sheepish look he gets on his face. Like, he looks embarrassed that he tried to do that. And it was like, he's just like, oh.
That was my one thing.
Lame. Yeah. But it never, I don't remember if I talked about this in Force Awakens, but we haven't seen bad guys with mind control before in Star Wars. Have we? It's usually a Jedi power, paradoxically.
No, they go straight for the choke thing if they need to coerce anyone into doing anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, maybe that's why it doesn't work. He's just like, I'm trying that thing that you tried on me. No? Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Maybe that's a very specific light side thing. Although I've seen speculation that you really can't get more dark side than mind manipulation.
Well, yeah.
It does seem like they... maybe it shows that really they're not so different after all.
But isn't it also explicitly stated, it's for use against weaker minds?
Right.
As well?
Yeah. I think that was...
Well, Obi-Wan says the weak-minded, but do you trust anything that guy says?
No, not that.
He's just being kind of, facetious. He's
what other
he's got a low
can I
opinion of
feed you?
stormtroopers.
I think he was busting on Luke because he's like, it works well on the weak-minded. And Luke's like, yes,
I think
it works
Obi-Wan
well on the
must have
weak-minded.
spent all his time in the desert just writing fan fiction about his own history. Oh, this is where I saved this. This is, yes, I was a general. Yes.
He really knew, he was really friends because he comes into town all the time, so he knows all those stormtroopers. So he was just like, help me out, man. We can tease Luke let's tease Wormy a little bit.
Yes.
We have to make him think the Force is a thing.
Watch this. You don't need to see my identification.
Well, it fits in with my, my ideas about the Force not existing. He just knows those people.
Yeah. So how do you explain this situation then? Is this like some kind of Zoom situation that Snoke has set up?
But yeah, Snoke said, he arranged it all, so he's got some kind of
yes, it's one of those classic Snoke meet cutes.
Right, yeah. Well, right before he tries the voice.
The voice.
Yeah. But before that's his Bene Gesserit training is strong, but not that strong. Right before he tries that, he does the Kylo slide, everybody, which I love. We've seen that before, I think, right? In Force Awakens, where he kind of, or is this the first time that it happens, where he runs out into the hallway and like stops, but he slides like a kid.
This is kind of like a Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
This is or did he do that when he was running out of the interrogation room in Force Awakens?
Think so. It's happened before, and I love it because it's like it's still like it.
Yeah, you almost hear that dun 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 as he
take those old records off the shelf, and he gets
burn them if you have to.
Yeah, onto CD.
Yeah, no one listens to me.
Yeah, because I like it. It's very it's like it fits with the kind of pouting child and like the kind of like Daffy Duckness of him all. Like it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just imagining all those classic Warner Brothers sound effects as he slides around.
He runs his place.
Yeah, he's got Flintstone run sound.
Goes. I have a Kylo Ren question.
Sure.
In the last movie
Can we answer,
saw,
or this is just for Kylo Ren?
Or is this just for you?
Let's call it a rhetorical question. Okay. You guys just sit tight for a second.
Okay.
In the last movie, we saw them blow up a bunch of planets, including the government of the New Republic, and theoretically, the First Order are like taking over the galaxy. But like Kylo Ren's just sitting around, like doing nothing. Aren't there things to be done in terms of conquering the galaxy? Like, okay, go sit on the throne and take control. Like they're all just obsessed with Luke Skywalker.
It's been hours since
all the more
this
reason
happened.
why you should be like get in there and lock things down. Okay,
he's
you know what?
Probably tired. I mean, he was just he had his butt whipped in that.
That's true.
Battle. He was very injured.
I mean, he's in the doctor's office. He's getting medical attention.
He has a note.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, please excuse Kylo.
Kylo Ren's mother
from the warring.
Yeah, we do see him kind of again, they're not actively, I guess they did just have that he's a consultant essentially at this point too, remember? Because it's like Vader. It's like he's not directly in charge of the military. He's like a special envoy. He's on his Snoke mission.
Okay.
And so, Hux is in charge of the army, and Hux is doing, he's the one who's chasing them down, but Kylo's, like he's on his own little secret special mission.
Yeah, I guess so.
I just can't get the theme song for Snoke Mission out of my.
But let's see, with the safety, I think that's all I had for 46. It kind of continues. Their connection becomes more not concrete, but it continues into tomorrow. Did anybody else have anything specific to this minute?
No, but I really want to hang a lantern on exactly how Adam Driver draws back his hand after that "oh shucks" moment when he can't do the mind control. Because it is almost pantomime.
Right.
That sort of, whoa. Like he was doing his own slow-mo back.
Right.
It was almost like trying to do that thing where someone goes to give you a high five and you put your hand over your hair. Like,
it's you'll bring Luke Skywalker to me, psych.
Yeah. I mean, but it is sad puppy moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sad puppy moments for Kylo Ren in this movie. It's like, oh, you don't want to join with
It's not specific to this minute, but I do want to call attention to the fact that I love Rey's consistent costume choice of fingerless opera gloves as her kind of like, that's her motif that she uses in all her different I think she wears at least 2 different costumes in this movie, and they both have, and plus the one last movie had, or Force Awakens had those bandage style.
It's so hard to keep track of the fingers on gloves.
She couldn't afford them.
Yeah, they're like AirPods. Yeah. You just lose them. And
yeah. Oh, I lost another one.
But yeah. So
right.
That's it.
So we haven't done a Rey. It's tough because she's her outfits are all kind of themed the same.
Yeah, she doesn't have.
Yeah, it basically was the same outfit, just darker.
Yeah, they're different takes
later.
on it. But we'll keep an eye on because it does seem to kind of match potentially her mood. It's mood outfitting. But this will continue. We'll see her outfit again tomorrow. Ken, can you come back tomorrow?
Will you come back tomorrow?
Will you come back tomorrow?
Oh, well, that's
you will come back to the show
questions.
tomorrow. Oh, Saik. Yeah.
I will come back. I would be glad to.
Well, listeners and viewers, hopefully you will come back tomorrow, either by checking us out via the normal podcast method and rate, review, subscribe, please, if you are listening to this as a podcast.
Rate, review, subscribe.
5 stars. 5 stars. You can also check us out on Spotify. StarWarsMinute.com/Spotify will go to our Spotify page, listing. I don't know what it's called on Spotify, but you can listen to us there. It's easy if you have that. And as we mentioned, YouTube. You can see us on YouTube. You can watch all this going on. You can watch our psych hand gestures.
Yeah.
StarWarsMinute.com/YouTube. And then hopefully we will meet you back here tomorrow for a brand new episode of Star
Wars Minute.
Snoke Mission.
Snoke Mission.